Ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm not the only one who sometimes can't sleep at night, or sometimes you sleep too early and you wake up early. But yeah, man, it's just a lot of things going on in my mind. Um, I feel like with the passing of Shabadoo, I don't know whether it's because I'm a fan of Breaking or him, but YouTube's constantly throwing me nonstop documentaries on him, and it's kind of like when Michael passed away, Michael Jackson in 2009. I went on a spiritual journey to LA. You know, I know Turbo. I know a lot. I know Shannon of Let the Music Play. I've had quite a crazy life myself. Starting as just a big fanboy. Like, I was a fan of breakdancing. I had no idea that my City College Breaking Fridays club would end up putting me on a path to go to LA to meet authentic dancers. There's so much I gotta say. Like, it sucks. Like, I gotta talk about this. Like, Shabadoo, I seen him a couple years ago. I just saw him like months ago, you know, and he still got it. Him and Turbo were on stage tearing it up. Thanks to Marcella Powerhouse Bombshells. They were able to reunite and put on a show for the fans like me. And I was like, this guy is in shape. He's just like Bruce Lee, just like Mr. Animation, rest in peace. Chiseled, all about it, still dancing, still killing it. And, we had our differences, but, I didn't understand why he was such adamant about what he stood for. But now watching his documentaries, I get it, and that's part of the journey as a performer, you know. Like, I got into hip hop accidentally. Like, seriously. I started a breaking club just because I wanted to break dance to freestyle music. And ended up leading to, like, me meeting real b-boys. And then suddenly, you do something long enough, you know, good stuff happens. I was crowned the name Hella Hung, which I was like, what is that? But then I ended up going to a break-in. I wrote a story about breaking. I was asked to. Well, actually, no. I was asked to write a story from the college newspaper magazine. And I just wrote something about breaking. It was just, I had no idea about the scene. I just, off the top of my head, what I thought breakdancing was. And, the article actually became a feature at City College Guardsman at Such a Magazine 2003. And then my leader, Mr. Juan Gonzalez, told me to go cover a break-in event across the street at Reardon High, and that's where I met B-Boys. I was ecstatic, like, I'm a big fan of breakdancing. I've seen a little bit of it in the clubs, but now I was at an actual competition watching these kids do amazing stuff for 4 or 5 hours. Long story short, I was crowned Hella Hung that day based on halftime. I was bored and I did something, and yeah, long story. Just like when yeah, my story is always like during halftime. I just like my infamous YouTube battle against Nasty Ray. It was halftime, and I got hit with a vision, and I did it, and then the crowd was chanting. That's our best b-boy battle ever was born. So usually when I watch something enough, it's like you just you get inspired. You just go out, you just take feed on that energy. That's a lot of thing. Like, people, they look at Hella Hung and they're like, he's not really like truly technical, but for some reason he gets the crowd riled up. And I tell you, the reason why that happens, the secret to Hella Hung, is when I go out there, I don't give a F. It's coming from here. Like, I'm taking all that energy and I'm just like, ah! Like the Incredible Hulk. He just builds and builds, and then when he explodes, you just want to see him smash. So when Hella Hung goes out on the dance floor, my goal is to kill it every time. And anybody who's ever battled me or been in my presence can sense when I turn it on. It's like Dragon Ball Chi. Like, the whole room lights up. I remember when I used to just put my foot on the floor, boom, and the crowd would just go crazy. This is, I came out during the era of YouTube. So before YouTube, if you wanted to see a b-boy, you had to go to a breakdancing competition to actually witness it. And if you're lucky, somebody had a huge clunky camera that filmed it. And this is before the internet became streaming. So like back in the 99, you would wait all day long just to download a 2 minute clip all day, just to download a 2 minute clip. So imagine, people are still rolling out with them big camcorders. This is before people had cameras on their cell phone. And even if they did, it took really crappy, low quality pictures. So video is not even thinkable. But I was blessed. I started Breaking Club in 2003. And I ended up being on YouTube like a year or two later. And so my whole B-Boy evolution is on YouTube, just YouTube hella hung. But then, next thing you know, I get on America's Got Talent. I go from being a journalist, cartoonist, to becoming a feature writer, then a columnist, to running a breakdancing club out of the kindness of my will. I didn't get paid for it. I just did it in my own time. I love dancing that much. And I wanted to see b-boying. I wanted to see breaking. And I'll be honest, I just wanted to learn how to flare and windmill to impress the ladies. And God has this interesting way of working. Like I never mastered those two moves, but what it ended up getting was this crazy journey. It's just kind of like how Shabadoo talks about everybody wanted to do the Campbell lock, but what ended up happening was they ended up creating their own stuff. Mr. Penguin, rest in peace, aka Rerun, he ended up creating his own version of locking. And that's what it is. Like, it's cool if you can able to match the move exactly. I call it textbook b-boy or textbook locker, or somebody who's technical, who just does everything by the book. And you come out and they're like, wow, this dude can do everything. He's got the technique down. Not saying ladies can't do it. Props to the B-girls and the female lockers and female dancers too. Some of them, like some of the B-girls right now, can flare and windmill and even air track. I'm a guy, I can't do it. So, props. Prop is given what prop is due. So, and then so next thing you know, I'm going to competitions now. One of my breakdancing club members was like, hella hung. You should join that jam in SF State, abnormal abilities. You need to showcase yourself to the world. I looked at these young bucks. I'm like, I'm 20 something years old. I just started breaking, I don't know anything about breakdancing. But they're like, no, the world has to see you. So, I go to SF State. I premiere Boys Don't Cry with my brother. And, yeah, my life was never the same after that. Kind of like I created a little venue for my hobby, because, Homer Simpson said, if you create it, they will come. So I created this breaking club, and I wanted peace, unity. I had heard that breakdancing crews are like gangs, that there's rivalries. And I was like, I don't want that at my club. I want a unity, safe spot. And being a school spirit guy in high school, being football, track, and wrestling team, I wanted to create something on City College that meant something. I wanted a positive place for kids to come together, just to dance. And I was always welcoming. I was willing to teach whatever I knew, whether it was martial arts, doing a roll, a worm. I was learning as I go, and I was teaching whatever I was go. And people who were there at Breaking Fridays, you know the story of Hella Hung. So I ran that club, City College Breaking Fridays, from 2003 all the way till when I left for LA, which was 2009. Yeah, that's a lot of devotion, running a club, carrying up the linoleum. I got the club established and I went against the administrators. They tried to deny me, saying that breakdancing was a risk. I'm like, you got judo. How is breakdancing a risk when you got freaking judo? So, not taking no for an answer is part of my story. And those who know my story also know that Hella Hung doesn't take no for an answer. I see something, I'm going to do it. I don't care if the odds are against me. I don't care if I have no support. I don't care if I got gazillions haters. As an artist, I'm in tune to the higher calling. There's something in me driving me. And I don't have to see it to believe it. I would just make it happen. So, I remember I got excited when Turbo, aka Mike Boogaloo Chambers, Jim Chambers, announced that Breaking 3 was casting in San Jose. I wanted to go so bad, but I had to work. And there's no way I could get there. But some people went. B-Boy Vietnam and a couple of OGs, OG, Cosmos Watford, they went, you know. And I was like, I'm a big fan of Breaking. I want to be in Breaking 3. I want to be in it so bad. And then, and then I end up living in LA, and never got to Breaking 3 to this day hasn't got the green light. And I don't know whether or not I got to produce something completely from scratch, or I don't know. Who do I got to talk to? I know about the Lockers. I met Tony Basil briefly, at a breakdancing competition in LA. She was a judge. Yeah, and I don't know if y'all know me as L Dynasty. For those who did, I was a street performer. That's how I met everybody at Hollywood and Highland. I know Pop, infamous Flat Top, who used to perform at Universal Studios. He was the only street performer there, repping hard. And then I know Goldmine, aka Goldie. I know Midnight, who create this awesome heaven in LA called the OG's Poppers Picnic, which I was privileged to witness for a few years, and I'm glad I could contribute. And I went to LA I wasn't happy. Like, I'm a martial artist. Those who know me as a fighter and with a big temper. And I come from a family of 4 with a lot of fire. And I needed to seek peace. Michael Jackson, my hero, passed away. Went to LA on a spiritual journey I didn't give a F anymore. I was like, I don't like my life. I want change. I want to see what is my potential, my higher calling. That's why I went to LA. And I lived it. I didn't plan to be a street performer, but it ended up happening. I wore a luchador mask. I was Elder Dynasty. Had a boombox. I had a little speaker and music connected to my cell phone. Amazing technology. And I would rock Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears, and me as a performer, I just became it. The music moved me. I didn't have a set routine. I didn't have a set show. It was a hella hung raw show, basically. And I remember when I first got on the Boulevard, I tried to perform right in front of the Hollywood Highland, and Goldmine stepped up to me. He's like, hey kid, this Boulevard has lots of legends and OGs who's been here for a hell of a long time. You can't just come on our block and just start performing. And I was like, well, where can a new person like me perform? They're like, didn't give me an answer. So I chose, you know what? I noticed the corner of the Gap. There was nobody there on Hollywood and Highland. Right before you cross the street to Famima, there was that corner. And nobody, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's test myself. I know people are tempted to cross that light. But if I got skills, then I should be able to stop the crowd and draw a crowd. Like, in the clubs, I was Mr. Elite VIP. I could just, boom, captivate the club and audience. Have people surround me. I am the circle creator. I can spawn a cipher, a circle from anywhere. Like, just draw a crowd. That's my power. The Hella Hung live show. If you ever see it, you're witnessing magic in the making. So I used to, Anthony, back to the story. So I wanted to I was like, you know what? If I'm that good, I'm going to stop you from crossing Hollywood and Highland across the street to Famima, right where Ripley's Believe It or Not is. If my show is that good, you'll stop right here and watch me. And sure enough, as I started performing, playing with Britney Spears and sing Backstreet Boys, people would stop. Kids would stop. And everybody surrounded me. and I would just entertain the crowd. And you know me, Hella Hung is all about giving love and giving what I want. Kids got a sweet spot with me. When I see a kid want to learn, I give them my show. And so, I was a family friendly show, except for when it got really late, like around 7 or 8. I stopped playing those, I wanna love you, I wanted to holler, and you want me to stop. So I would stop playing the 90s, R&B, little Boys to Men, close your eyes. And I would literally perform the lyrics because I love music that much. It speaks to me. And a performer is just an extension. So I was a visual performance, which was my major in City College. I was visual performer. So I literally was living the life, visual performer as a street performer. I did street performing in my left knee, after 7 months of constant knee spin on the concrete with no knee gear. It locked up on me one day. And since then, my left knee has never been the same. So, long story short, those who know me know that I've been doing street performing for a while. I know all the street performers, the heavy hitters. I was introduced to bopping, to an OG. Don't want to mention his name, but a lot of people, So I ended up meeting pretty much the LA street performing community. Like what Shabadoo talks about street performers. If you're in LA, you see those people at the Poppers Picnic, OGs. And I call myself now, I started dancing in 1996. It's 2021 now. That's how long my dance history has been. I was a 16-year-old in high school raving, to dancing with the ladies, to then getting on stage performing for Let the Music Play, You Won't Get Away, to changing the whole look of exhibition battles in a b-boy competition. So, traditional b-boys, they go to a theater, and they would just beef all year long like WrestleMania. And then finally when they battle, it was all very serious, They did technical b-boy moves. But when I stepped on the ring, since, I don't have b-boy techniques, I battle for my artistic creativity. So I would always dress up as something. I would always have a vision in my mind. And my thing was I never rehearsed what I was going to do. Everything I did was raw. I saved it. I would have a vision, and then I would freestyle the vision. And that's why when Hella Hung went out on the floor, it was unrehearsed. It was always raw. So, for those who don't know, it was raw. I don't rehearse. So, from exhibition battles, people started saying like it was the Hung Show. Next thing everywhere I go, it's the Hung Show. Fast forward now, so I feel like I paid my dues, and I'm not Shabadoo. I'm Hella Hung. And I am a fan of breaking. And I'm also a martial artist. A master of my own right. And I want to produce Breaking 3. I actually got ideas for Breaking 3, 4, and 5, and beyond. But to be honest, I know people, but I don't know a lot of them personally, like so close where I can just pick up the phone and be like, hey, Tony Basso, it's Hella Hung, let's talk. Or, hey, Mike Chambers, I know we performed together. I met you several times, but let's talk. It's sad. Like, I feel like a lot of people, they're not going to talk to you unless you got something really, really to present. Or some people are like, yeah, talk to me when you got something. But I guess you can call this an SOS. I'm humbly asking. I want to create Breaking 3 and 4, possibly 5. But who's gonna step in and help me introduce me and get me with the right people? I would like Tony Basil to, we've met briefly, but I don't know who I gotta talk to. I haven't met Lucinda Dickey, aka Special K. I would love to meet her too, but for some reason, something cosmic or maybe it's just the algorithm, but Shabby-Doo and Breaking is popping up nonstop on my YouTube feed. And I feel like hopefully before my time is up, I can make a couple Breaking movies. That's it for now. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, if you want to be a part of the journey, if you want to be a part of the project, if you know anybody, any leads, comment me, follow me. I'm on social media, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You could just Google Hella Hung and you'll find me. But if you want, I'm on TikTok as Hella Hung, on Instagram, Hella Legacy, on Facebook, Hung Van Lam, Hella Hung. And yeah, have a good day.